2 a.m. on December 1st. Crypto market cap sitting right now at $855 billion. Bitcoin dominance has risen to 38.3%. ETH dominance sitting at 18.2%. We can see that Bitcoin sitting just under $17,000. ETH sitting at 1268. Binance coin sitting at 291. Dogecoin sitting at 10.1 cents. Cardano at 31.4 cents. Matic 92.2 cents. Polkadot at 534. Chainlink at 761. Cosmos at $10.18. Taking a look at the stock market, we are down today roughly by a whole percent, or roughly 300 points, or 351 points, sorry. Again, I think we are more or less putting in the high for the rest of the year. That's not to say we can't have a rally, maybe up to here, something like that, in a few weeks' time or something like that. Maybe a little Santa Claus rally, but I would not not financial advice, but I would not recommend throwing in a lot of money here in the next month or two, unless we see a huge dip on Bitcoin or something like that. Taking a look at the 1 hour chart, we can see that Bitcoin is dumping in the past hour with market opening with the Dow Jones. We can see that for the current time, Bitcoin is probably down roughly like 1% or something like that, maybe 2% for the day, which kind of lines up with the stock market. And then taking a look at the 1 minute chart, we can see Bitcoin has dumped here in the past hour or so with the market opening. We'll see how long this dump continues. Personally, I think with the unemployment numbers coming out tomorrow, I think that will kind of shake the markets a bit, but that's just my opinion. Are we seeing another potential big red candle forming kind of on par with this green candle that we just experienced here in the past day or so? I mean, if history is any indicator, I think that's probably what we're gonna see. Maybe we see something like this. We kind of like leading to an like last few days before it capitulates. So maybe we come again. I'm just speculating, not financial advice, but maybe we come down here and then ultimately break a little higher. Again, get people excited back in the market, come back down here, and then ultimately right there, maybe leading up to the next FOMC meeting, which is in roughly about 2 weeks' time. I believe on the 13th and 14th of December, the Fed will be deciding on whether they are going to nuke the market or not with another juicy rate hike. We can see in the past few hours that the DXY has found a bottom, actually past hour. Looks to have found support right around the 104.7, roughly speaking. Obviously, again, if this trends higher, we can probably see stock market and crypto bleed quite considerably. If this breaks down, though, to the downside, we could see stocks and crypto rally. So just something to pay attention to. Head over to Twitter for some news. Number of addresses holding 0.1 Bitcoin each just reached an all-time high of 4.096. Basically 4.1 million. It's pretty cool. More and more people are stacking. More and more people are trying to achieve that whole coiner status. You know, those of us that just started, maybe we just reached this milestone the past few months or past few days. If we enter the space here in the past year or so, Those of us who have been in the space a bit longer, maybe we're nearing a fifth of a whole Bitcoin or maybe a quarter. And then those of us who've been in the space for a few years, maybe we're near a whole coin or maybe we're near a second whole coin. In other news, sorry, a little tangent. 10,050 Bitcoin transferred from unknown wallet to Coinbean. Are they going to sell or liquidate some of their Bitcoin? Only time will tell. All pretense has now been dropped. Has a major central bank ever come out this stridently, hysterically against Bitcoin? Understand if they're willing to say this out loud, what do you think they're saying or doing in private? This is endgame desperation rhetoric. European central bank said the apparent stabilization of Bitcoin's value is likely to be an artificially induced last gasp before the crypto asset embarks on the road to irrelevance. Uh, the ECB blog looks at where Bitcoin stands amid widespread volatility in the crypto markets. Again, they said Bitcoin is on the road to irrelevance. Meanwhile, the euro is down 99.92% against Bitcoin since 2013. Funny how that works. They're trying to FUD the holders out, shake the paper hands out of the game. It's comical that they're shitting on Bitcoin because uh, in meantime, you have Fidelity and other asset managers looking to adopt Bitcoin for their retail clients and stuff like that, and their wealthy clients. It's funny how we see the narrative unfolding before us. INX Group says Shai Datica, sorry, Datica, INX co-founder and CEO, says we believe that INX can offer the right combination of credibility, technology, and unique regulatory positioning to protect customers and creditor invest interests, giving them the stability they're looking for. This is in light of INX battling Binance for assets of bankrupt Voyager Digital. Another person looking to place a bid. This is a big deal, in my opinion, according to Patrick Ackerman. He says INX is backed by legacy finance heavy hitters. I have been following them since 2020 and have always thought highly of what they were building. Something to look into. Um, Pretty interesting that there are more and more people getting interested in bidding for Voyager. Lark Davis says Brazil just made Bitcoin a form of legal payment. This is big because it is the seventh most populous country, 12th biggest economy globally, founding member of BRICS, leading member of Mercosur. Mercosur, sorry. Biggest economy in South America, has sloths. I don't know why that's a big deal. But yeah, huge regardless of the sloths. um, Breaking, Italy will impose crypto gains tax at 26% starting in 2023. Landing in the Bahamas, the least altcoin daily is to finish what others couldn't. Curious to see what they have prepared content wise regarding their trip to the Bahamas. Are they looking into the FTX case some more, trying to gather intel? Only time will tell. Michael Saylor saying today at Princeton, CFTC Chair Rostin Benham, said that the only cryptocurrency that should be viewed as a commodity is Bitcoin, walking back from previous remarks made in October when he suggested Ether may also be a commodity. Interesting pivot from the CFTC chair. Telegram to build cryptocurrency exchange and non-custodial wallets, according to the Telegram CEO. Curious to see how this unfolds. Bitcoin. Some people are saying that Bitcoin is going to go to 12,000. So this person, for example, believes Bitcoin may go to 18K and then draw down to 12K. This person talks about how a lot of people are feeling bullish after Powell's speech just yesterday, and he hates to be a killjoy, but this monthly candle does not look good. Dot dot dot. Sorry, this is why I don't get invited to parties any longer. This guy says today is the final day of November, yesterday, and Bitcoin is going to produce the 12th consecutive red monthly Heikin-Ashi candle after 5 months of red candles. A green monthly candle has marked the end of each bear market. Each red streak has been longer than the last. Hashtag patience. And that's the thing that I'm kind of worried about. I think we may be seeing a one last fake out. Like, I think we're potentially going to, again, like, more or less come back up a bit, get more and more people in the market, get them excited, buying altcoins and stuff, and then we capitulate lower. Question is, are we going to capitulate one more time? We're going to capitulate a few times. Again, only time will tell. But I will be streaming whether the market goes up or down. So make sure to check out the channel, on a daily basis, minus the weekends. Got to have some time off just like you. Bitcoin drives cryptocurrency markets. Bitcoin is driven by 4-year halving cycles. Bitcoin's last global bottom was in December 2018. Tomorrow's December 2022. 4 years later, to be honest, I guarantee we're gonna have some wicks down here below this purple line. So maybe we have wick down to like 11K or something like that at some point. Again, not financial advice. I don't have a crystal ball, but just speculating. FTX collapse. U.S. Senate committee hearing will take place today on the collapse of FTX. Max Clown World, they're applauding him.
And on behalf of the public, I want to thank you for engaging in it at a time, in truth, when I know you've been advised not to. So thank you so very, very much. Thank you.
This is after he SBF said, "Oh, he had a tough week or whatever, tough month." It's astounding that these people are clapping for this loser who mismanaged billions of dollars, billions of customers' funds. But when you're all in one big group, I guess you got to clap for each other, right? Disgusting. Dylan LeClaire says, amazing scene. Me watching the reporting on FTX obliterate any remaining trust Normies had in the media. Yeah, the way the media has been handling it, I'm disgusting. This is referring to SBF from FTX. Man who accidentally lost $10 billion also accidentally eats 3,000 shrimp. Bankman Fried may not have been vegan for at least the last 17 months. Emails and text messages revealed the 30-year-old entrepreneur may have accidentally eaten as many 3,000 shrimp in a menu mix-up blamed on outside food procurement issues. Oh, brother. I don't know why that's very newsworthy, but I thought I'd share that. He pulls the whole act that he's vegan, but he didn't realize that he potentially had been eating shrimp for the past 17 months. I don't know. Make it make sense. U.S. Federal Appeals Court rejects President Biden's $400 billion bid to reinstate his student debt relief plan. Bottom line, here we have Senator Ron Johnson saying the bottom line, the COVID-19 vaccine does not prevent infection or transmission. So why does the Biden administration force our men and women in uniform to take it? For moving forward on NDAA, the Senate should vote on amending the insane COVID-19 military vaccine mandate. And remember, Joe Biden basically said, if you get these jabs, you're not going to get sick, you're not going to get COVID, you can't transmit it, which we heard parroted by Rochelle Walensky along with Dr. Fauci. Thomas Massey says that she should resign. She should have resigned over a year ago with the misleading and false COVID vaccine claims she made along with Joe Biden and Fauci. But the indefensible wording of this tweet is further evidence of your lack of an ethical mooring and your failure to surround yourself with people of good judgment. So let's see what she says. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the end of the Tuskegee syphilis study. Tomorrow I'll be joined by colleagues in at and hashtag public health leaders as we honor the 623 African American men, their suffering and sacrifice, and our commitment to ethical research and practice. Um, this guy says their sacrifice, no, no, no. They were sacrificed by our government and by men of science and medicine. That's entirely different. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how they spin it, because it's like they're trying to spin it like those people just hopped aboard with the experiment. They were totally on board with it. They had no idea what was being injected in them and stuff like that. It's disgusting. Um, 3 years ago today, a man in Wuhan, China, starts feeling ill and later becomes the first confirmed case of COVID 19. More than 6.6 million people have since died of the virus, according to statistics. I don't believe those numbers. I think they're a bit fudged, if you ask me. Breaking, the CCP is enlisting the youth, some little volunteers as young as 10 to 13 years old, to serve as COVID enforcers. Red Guards of the Cultural Revolution have returned as the White Guards. Yeah, weird stuff happening over in China. Not to mention, Joe Biden was praising the protests along with Trudeau and other Western leaders when these same leaders demonized protests here in the West. Again, make it make sense. So Nayib Bukele, president of El Salvador, says the U.S. State Department says we tried to interfere in their elections. Ha 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 ha. I doubt El Salvador has the capacity really to do anything regarding the U.S. elections, so it's rather comical that the U.S. State Department makes such a big claim. Um, o- Other news coming out of El Salvador authorities on Monday warned residents near the Chapatorisk, sorry, I probably butchered that, that the volcano in the country's east to be alert after it had started to erupt. Judith Rose points out just how many volcanoes have erupted lately. I believe like two or three other ones recently have erupted. Kind of weird that they're all erupting around a similar time, but I don't know. What do I know? Cynthia Loomis, senator over in Congress, says this is the garbage the IRS backed off after the public objected just last year. Fast forward less than 12 months and it was snuck into a garbage big government bill. It was never about billionaires. It's always been about keeping a closer eye on American private spending choices. This is going over a tweet that we went over yesterday, that basically says the IRS has warned Americans that they must report payments on Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle over $600. $600 threshold includes part-time work, side gigs, and selling goods. It wasn't the plan to go after billionaires. Yeah, they always, if they tell you it's going to help you, it's probably going to hurt you. If it's going to help the middle class, it's probably going to hurt the middle class. It's gonna hurt the billionaires, the millionaires. Well, it's probably gonna help them through loopholes and such. Food price inflation in Germany reached 21%. Everything is fine. Breaking news: Germany's largest state has declared an emergency situation amid the energy crisis in order to be allowed to take on more debt. More debt means money printer goes burr. As predicted, when Russian assets were seized by the US and EU, they're now trying to legalize the theft of Russian central bank reserves owned by the Russian people and assets from Russian individuals who had no say in decisions that were made.
And more than
Yeah,
100,000 Ukrainian military
classic
officers
government play.
have been killed so far.
They steal the assets of
Russia
civilians on
must
the other
pay for
team,
its
and
horrific
you
crimes,
know, oh, but
including for
it's
its
okay
crime of
because
aggression against
you're
the
part of the
sovereign
wrong
state.
team.
And this is why
Disgusting. Uh, this is kind of interesting and shows the uh, clear double standard from some people. So Bill Gates says, "I'm going to put a microchip inside you." Everyone screeches evil. Meanwhile, if Elon Musk says, "I'm going to put a microchip inside you," everyone's like, "Oh, cool." Yeah, kind of weird. I like Elon, but I'm not crazy about the Neuralink, the idea of microchips and stuff. I'm not about any of that. Now to talk about what the Federal Reserve said yesterday. They said the Fed's Powell says the Fed has been pretty aggressive, but it does not feel it appropriate to crash the economy, clean up afterwards. He says, I don't want to over tighten, and cutting rates is not something I intend to do anytime soon. Then he says, smaller interest rate hikes could start in December. Excess retirements close to 2 million have led to a surplus of job openings and will not unwind. They will not be returned to the labor sector. Again, so we're getting mixed messaging. In one of these messages, we're saying this is kind of dovish talk. That's kind of that's kind of possibly why the markets rallied a bit. Here we have um, it sounds a bit more hawkish. He's talking about how Fed rate hikes will be the trend here probably throughout going into 2023 and throughout 2023. Here he talks about how they're going to keep tightening, but maybe they'll just keep going for the 50 or 25 basis point rate hikes. Here he's talking about how a lot of people are retiring, and these people are not going to be returned to the labor force. So there will be a lot of open positions, and if those positions don't get filled, then they need to tighten more. From my understanding, Fed's Powell saying expected interest rates to rise this much, or inflation is spread so widely. Well, when you print as much money as you do, Mr. Powell, those things happen. Very poor labor force participation is not improving. And yeah, this person's right, because you and the government printed $10 trillion in 4 years. Yeah, that's probably why there's very poor labor force participation. So recap, Fed could slow pace of rate hikes in December. Fed has a long way to go in bringing inflation down. Somewhat higher than projected rates needed in 2023. Housing services inflation to fall in 2023. In other words, he has no clue what's happening. The Fed is pivoting. The language starts soft and preps the market right on schedule for quarter 1. So we have ultra undervalued Bitcoin, leverage completely wiped out, indications of a changing policy. The stage is set. A Fed pivot is bearish, according to Michael A. Gayed, CFA. Here we have the market is wrong, he says. Look at this. If we take a look at the times when the Fed makes a pivot, each time basically marks basically a majority of the decline in bear markets occur after the Fed pivots. So the Fed pivots, the Fed pivoting is kind of a precursor to a large leg down in the market, more or less, from what I'm reading. And I'll leave you guys with this clip from Dylan LeClaire talking about gold or Bitcoin in a debate. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live next. Please share the content. Let's boost it up into the algorithms, make the algorithms put forward streams like this. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 9:15, 9:20ish a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, take care, invest wise. I'll leave you with this clip.
But the reason that gold, when I say failed, I say failed as a medium of exchange, no one is transacting in gold IOUs anymore. Why? The world was on a gold standard, and it wasn't on a gold standard due to any government mandate. And now we are in a world where 7 billion people use free flow fiat currencies. So why is that a thing? Even though central banks are accumulating gold, the U.S. has gold in Fort Knox, etc. Well, it's because there's that trust inherent in the system, where you need to trust a centralized third party to not fractionally reserve your gold. And that trust is obviously the history of money and economics and human incentives says that trust will be broken. And it's the same reason why FTX said their customers had 70,000 Bitcoin and they had 0, right? So the ethos of Bitcoin is don't trust, verify. I don't hold any Bitcoin on exchanges and never do. Why? Because I buy Bitcoin, I send it to my own wallet, and I audit all 21 million Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And I don't need to trust anyone to do that, right? It's trivial. So so the future where Bitcoin is a $10 trillion, $100 trillion, that sounds ridiculous, right? A $10 trillion monetary asset. Well, the reality is you have a globally distributed network where you can audit the entire supply in very trivial fashion from my smartphone, right? And you can't do that with gold. You need trust. So in a digital world, right? I'm 21 years old. I'm very young, and then so maybe I have a lot to learn. That's a fair statement. But when I think about where the world's going in my lifetime, I don't think we're going to go to a world where I'm saving in a gold-backed ETF that JP Morgan has in their vault. I actually prefer a world where I have Bitcoin in a cold storage that I can audit, and I can access in 5 minutes if I need to, and it's mine, and it's mathematically mine, and I have all of my money in my head, right? That's the future I see.